Hey, what's up YouTube? Working on the 97 Chevy Blazer here. Already did the motor mounts last week, maybe about a week and a half ago. And one of the bolts that goes into the driver motor mount on the driver's side, the bottom bolt, there's 3 bolts that hold the actual mount itself to the side of the engine block. The top 2 bolts are pretty easily accessible. I'm going to see if I can get you a close-up here. Let's see if this will focus. Okay, so right now you're looking at the mount there. It's the black thing to the left of the silver oil cooler lines there. You see that little flexible little shield right there? That part goes through. There's holes on there that drills, or pre-drilled holes on there that allow you to pass the bolts, the fasteners for the mount, through that to hold the shield on. And that keeps the heat off the rubber bushing of the motor mount. But there's 2 bolts, and you can't really see them probably at this angle, but there are 2 bolts up there on the left and right side of the top of that bushing motor mount that goes onto the block. There's also a bottom bolt that goes down below that. Could not get that on there the last time, and the weather took a turn for the worst when I was doing these engine mounts here in the driveway. So I ended up just leaving the bottom bolt out. I've been driving it like that for, since I did them, and I haven't had any problems, but I feel more comfortable knowing they're in there. So now if you look down here, I don't know if you see that, but you see how there's the mount there, down there in the very center of your screen. There's the mount portion that's still connected to the engine, and there's that bracket you see with a hole in it below that. That's actually bolted to the frame. That's a bracket. And when you lower the engine, because right now I have the engine jacked up in the air with a wooden block and a floor jack, the upper portion of that comes up and lifts up off of the bracket. And there's a bolt, a pass-through bolt with a nut that goes on there. And this is the pass-through bolt with a nut. So the bolt itself is a 16 millimeter. The nut is a 17 millimeter. You might have a little trouble getting a 17 millimeter on there at first because they get a little rusted and get corrosion and grease and whatnot on them. So what happens is you don't even have to lift the engine up to take those bolts out. Basically, you just have to jack up the front end, get the wheels off the ground. I got some jack stands underneath the frame there supporting the weight of the vehicle. And what I do is very carefully go in here, and on the back of the bracket, you can see the bracket at the bottom of your screen there, that big arch thing coming up there. The bolt, the nut comes out the back here towards the right of your screen. So when the bolt goes through there and the nut goes on it, what you can do is you can get a 17 millimeter wrench in there and try to position it so that it's backed up against something if you don't have somebody to help you. Either against the frame right here or against the one of the engine pieces here. And what that does is once you get that backup wrench on there, you can come down here, and there's a splash shield that you have to take off. And you see the splash shield there. That comes off here. This covers the oil filter right up here up front. Okay, and you probably can't even see it, but what you got to do is you got to get an extension. And if you see right in the middle of that screen, that hole there, that's the mount. So go through all these little passages here between the cables, the hoses, and everything that you see there. You can put an extension there, and I use a wobble extension. Now, I don't know if everybody knows what a wobble extension is, just in case, I don't want to criticize anybody that knows, but a wobble extension, basically, you put your socket on it, and the end of it is rounded off a little bit. So it's got like an oval shape to it. And when you put your socket on there, what it does is it allows the socket to pivot like this. Now, I tried using one of those swivel ends, but that allowed too much play and just kept spinning off whenever I tried to use an impact. So once you have your wrench in there, now granted, like I said, this is a 2-people job, but I was able to do it with 1 person. But 2 people helps. Once you get your backup wrench on the back of that nut through that pass-through bolt there and get it braced against something so it's not going to fly off the best you can. And once again, this is if you're by yourself. If not, have your buddy come in here and just hold it, Then you can go down here and, like I showed you, just weave up through all that stuff there to get a couple series of extensions or 1 long extension with the like I did here. I have this long couple extensions, 1/2 inch with the swivel on the end. And you want to get this on there. You want to push on as hard as you can on it at 16, because When you hit this with an impact, this thing's going to want to dance everywhere, and then you're going to round off the head of the bolt, and then you're really going to be up a shit creek. So make sure that you try to hold this on there as securely as you can while you're laying on the ground doing that. Same exact procedure for the passenger side. Reason why I say impact is because there's really not a lot of room. As you can see, there's the starter right there and the solenoid. There's the mount there. There's the pass-through area where this comes down and joins there to put the bolt through. There's another view. There's no room to really get in here and do what you need to do. So it's best to get the backup wrench on it, get the extensions, use a wobble head, and if you can get a set, you can get a set at Harbor Freight, probably on sale for 10-20 bucks. A nice set that I bought, a Pittsburgh brand, and wobble extensions, and that'll give you that extra, that'll give you that angle that you need to go up in there to get to that bolt. My new toy that I just bought, this is a Chicago from Harbor Freight. This is a 330 foot-pounds, half-inch Nikon battery rechargeable impact. So far I've been using it. It's my first time using it today. I've been watching Eric the Car Guy and all kind of other videos of guys that use their better brand like DeWalt and stuff, but this one here is just a cheapie. I got it for 100 bucks with a coupon at Harbor Freight, and so far, to be honest guys, it's been my favorite tool. My air hose is still back there wrapped up. I haven't gotten it out yet, so very impressed. So you also have to take, so you're aware, you also have to take this fan shroud off here. This is the part that holds the top of the radiator in. The reason why is because when you lift this engine up, that fan is going to come up and hit that shroud. And you don't want that to happen. You also have to take out the air box, and I just unhook all the sensors there to it and take it off the top of the throttle body there. So if you take this air box out right here, which I have it sitting, sorry if I'm making you sick, I have it sitting right there just off the side. You can take it off as an entire unit. The fasteners that hold this shroud on over top that hold the radiator, and they go through these little clips right here. There's 3 here. Then if you come down here to the driver's side and get the hose out of the way, I don't know if you can see that, but there's 2 fasteners there and then 2 on the other side over by the battery. Those are 10 millimeter. The fastener that holds the air box in, or should only be 1, is a 10 millimeter, and then they use this butterfly doodad right here that holds it down to the throttle body. For the airbox. Also, I take the steering shaft off. Basically, this bolt here is, I believe I used 11 millimeter. I mean, that may differ. I think my brother's vehicle was a Blazer and they used a different size, but mine is a 97. It used 11 millimeter. If you break that loose, this is telescoping, which means once you have it down there and there, you can push this up like you're folding in an antenna. And then what I do is I bungee cord it up here and go around the hood hinge, and just kind of tug it, and that gets that out of the way so you can access that mount on this side. Once again, I already did this mount. The only reason why I'm doing these, passenger and driver's side both were replaced about a week and a half ago ish. I'm only doing this work right now is because I wasn't able to get that bottom bolt in, and I'm going to feel way more comfortable once I have that bottom bolt back into the engine mount. It takes 3 fasteners that hold the mount to the side of the block. I believe those fasteners are, and I apologize if I'm wrong, I believe they are 14 millimeter. If not, they're 13s, but I'm 95% positive they are 14 millimeter fasteners, and they're kind of difficult to get to. I ain't gonna lie, guys. You really, like I said, you just need to be patient. It took me 4.5 hours to do this. A week later, I did the motor mounts on my brother's 2002 Blazer with the exact same engine, a 4.3 liter. It took me only about 2.5 hours to do it, cut my time in half. Now, granted, I did have some assistance from my brother working on one side while I was doing the other side, but it's just amazing how you do this job once and the second time you breeze right through. But 4.5 hours by myself. This has proven that you do not have to drop the front differential for you 4-wheel drive guys out there. The front differential does not need to be dropped. The Chilton's book says that's the first thing you got to do. Chilton's book says this is a 4.5 hour job. So most important thing is safety. Make sure you have it properly jacked up, secured. Take the wheels off. The wheels have 19 millimeter lug nuts on them. Safety, 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 guy. I mean, you're jacking an engine up here, guys, so use common sense. This is the way I do it. I have this really nice bottle jack from Harbor Freight. It has an air connector on it. You can actually jack it up using the air hose. It's really cool. I take 2 bricks, secure them nice and even and flat on the ground, a board, the jack, another board on the bottom of the not the tranny pan, the oil pan, and just watch in there and wait for that upper part of the mount there to separate from the bottom part of the mount there. As you jack it up. And don't go too far, because you go too far, you're going to smash your distributor cap, which I should have looked at that. I didn't even look at that. No, I didn't. You'll smash your distributor cap, which is back here, against the firewall or those hoses, but I'm actually okay. Everything looks good. And you don't want to put too much stress on the exhaust, the manifold, exhaust manifolds, as well as put too much stress on the tranny mount by jacking up too far. So take your time, jack up slow, watch, observe things as you're doing it. Highly recommend, if you're not experienced doing car repairs or this type of job on a Blazer like this, get a buddy. Have a buddy, be a second pair of eyes to watch as you're doing this. So, alright guys, this video is already up to 10.5 minutes. Just wanted to give a quick overview. If you have any questions, I've already done 2 vehicles with these mounts. I know exactly how they're done, as well as the tranny mount I did as well. So if you have any questions, I can probably give you some help. Just throw it in the comments below. If you feel that you've earned my subscription, please subscribe and always comment. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching.